All right, everybody, welcome back. It is From the Pocket. I am Jake over there. In DFW land is Christian. Christian, how are you doing? How are you feeling after we wrapped up the regular season?
Uh, um, well, Jake, not very happy, as
Yeah,
you know. It wasn't. Uh, the Bengals were obviously. Bengals and Dolphins were living on a prayer. Bengals at least took care of business and won their last game. But the Dolphins, with Tyler Huntley, decided they didn't want to show up and play. We
yeah,
let Aaron Rodgers throw for whatever 500 passing touchdowns, is like the fifth or sixth player to ever do that. Whatever, he's Hall of Famer, whatever. And so yeah, I was a little pissed off about that. Not because we lost, we didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Obviously, how this year went with injuries and our team not being well constructed. Tyreek Hill dropping hints throughout the year in his ending press conference of saying he might want to leave. I don't know. Seeing all this other stuff about Mike McDaniel, players are showing up late. All they're getting is fines. It's just a lot of not great stuff for the Miami fandom. But we're still here. We're still kicking. Um, on the DFW side, we were supposed to be expecting some. It's been cold, and we're expecting some freezing rain, snow, ice, whatever you want to call it in Texas. Uh, Differing reports. First, it was like 1 to 2 inches. Then it's 2 to 3. Now 4 to 6. Some things are saying like 6 to 10, and it's like, whoa, okay. So I don't know what's gonna
jeez.
happen tomorrow. All I know is I'm off. I just don't just hoping my power doesn't go out and I can just stay home and chill.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you.
How about you?
I don't think we're gonna get that much. Knock on wood. We'll see. I know they're saying like they're all prepping for weather, but it doesn't look like it's gonna get below freezing down here. So, um,
It's been at night. It's been getting below freezing.
yeah, it hasn't. It's been. It did for a couple days way earlier in the week, but I think tomorrow the low is like 34, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm not too worried about it either way. I'm working from home, so that's just my life anyway. So, but yeah, we got a packed show to get into today. We have first, I wanted to spend like 5 minutes recapping the last week of games. I don't really have too much I want to say about them. I don't want to spend too much time on them. What I really wanted to get into was the news from Black Monday. Talk about the coach firings, talk about where some of these teams land and where they might be going. I want to talk about and recap how our season predictions at the beginning of the year stood up just as far as records go. We'll talk about the playoffs, obviously, after those happen and how we did there. But a lot of interesting, funny kind of things we missed on early on in the year. And some things we actually got right. Some things were shockingly accurate, to say the least. We'll also do kind of a draft of our favorite headlines, most surprising, most disappointing, yep, that's what I thought would happen kind of moments and outcomes throughout the year. Christian's going to hit us with his tiers playoff edition, and then we're going to get into best bets to make this week. We'll talk about how we did last week. So, Christian, are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we can just start off. We had two games on Saturday. Uh, Not really great games. The first one was an absolute blowout between the Ravens and the Browns. The Browns were 20-point underdogs and did not cover. Ravens win 35-10. They lock in their division with that. And then afterwards, the Bengals and Steelers played each other. Bengals playing for all the marbles. They need to win. They need as you said, the Dolphins to lose. They need the Broncos to lose at this point. They're up 19-7 going into the fourth. Steelers try to make it interesting. They mess up my bet I had on them. One of my best bets was Bengals minus 2.5. Bengals win by 2 points. So they win, don't cover. Very disappointing. Steelers have looked bad. Bengals have looked good, but none of it mattered because Bengals missed the playoffs anyway. We go to Saturday. We go to the Sunday games. Panthers and Falcons played in a really compelling game. Bryce Young had like 5 touchdowns. Overtime win, 44-38. If you're Michael Penix, you just got to be sick. Like, you're sitting here like, I put up 38 points on these guys, and we're still losing. I don't understand. Falcons playing for their playoff lives, which, again, ultimately did not matter because the Buccaneers ended up beating the Saints. But for the Falcons to lose in this way, 8-9 on the season, very disappointing. That's the Falcons for you. So, but the good news is it looks like they got a stud in Michael Penix. It just seems like they probably should have switched to him earlier than they did.
They're paying Kirk Cousins all this money, and he's probably not going to be on the team next year.
That's the report. I heard when he packed up his stuff for the season when they were cleaning out their lockers, they said Kirk Cousins is gone. Like, he's out the building. He's not coming back to the building, so who knows. Texans-Titans. Texans starters got a quick series, try to get back in the rhythm after getting blown out against the Ravens the week before. They get a very uninspiring win with backups, 23-14, nothing there. Eagles, I mean, dude, what are you doing if you're the Giants? You're still getting beat by these backups. Like, they lose 20-13. Eagles never really in doubt. They win with their backups, trying to get Jalen Hurts that rest. Meaningless game for the Eagles. Whatever. Colts-Jags, meaningless game. 26-23, Colts win. Nothing to write home about there. Jags and Colts both end very disappointing seasons. This game actually went to overtime. I didn't even know this game went to overtime.
It was kind of funny. This game was just there. It was just there.
Commanders-Cowboys. Commanders get the win. Very dicey, though. Looked like the Cowboys were going to win for a minute. It kind of came down. It was like 16-19. Commanders are marching, and it's like you are either going to win here or you're going to lose in the sense that, like, you're not going to overtime. Like, you cannot kick a field goal and go to overtime. Like, you're throwing to the end zone. If you win, you win. If you lose, you take it. It did not end up mattering because the next game, the Bears beat the Packers. So the Commanders were already locked into their spot anyway because the Packers lost. So Commanders get the 5th seed. Packers fall down to the 6th seed.
I would say the Bears beating the Packers was pretty significant. It was the first time they won in Lambeau since 2018.
Yeah, and I misspoke there. Commanders were the 6th seed, and the Packers were the 7th seed in the way the final order went. But, yeah, Bears, game-winning field goal against the Packers, their first win against them since 2018, beat them in Lambeau. It's been an awful year for the Bears, but if there is a silver lining, it's that you get to go into the offseason with a little bit of momentum, and you get to say you beat the Packers.
Actually, I want to say this is the first time they've beaten. I think it's not in Lambeau. I think it's the first time they've beaten the Packers.
Period.
Since
Yeah, I think they were on an 11-game losing streak against the Packers.
Yeah.
Until this game, Packers. Boy, this was about it's hard to say there were losers in Week 18 when you were already locked into the playoffs, but the Packers were losers here. I mean, Christian Watson got hurt and is out. Jordan Love got banged up and is out.
Next season too, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers, they went into this game that really ended up being meaningless anyway because the Commanders beat the Cowboys, and they're leaving it with a loss to the Bears, which is like, dang, y'all lost to the Bears? Really? That's like something you never do. And their quarterback banged up, their number one receiver hurt, and now they got to go on the road and play the Eagles. Very much looks possible their season is going to begin and end with the Eagles because if you remember, Week 1 was against the Eagles. So tough for the Packers. That's about as tough as it gets. Not only do you lose the game, but the game ends up being meaningless and you get banged up. Bucks Saints, pretty compelling game for most of the day. The Saints were up a lot in this game. Bucks in the second half kind of woke up, took care of business. They get the win. Good for the Bucks. Patriots, Bills.
They were running when they got the turn. It was a turnover or whatever. When they got the ball back, they were lining up because Mike Evans had an incentive to get 1,000 yards, and
yeah,
they made it happen for him. It was pretty exciting. So he eclipsed the 1,000 yards. Only other player to do that for how many other years was
probably Jerry Rice, I would have bet.
Jerry Rice, yeah. I can't remember the exact record.
Yeah.
But he's up there with Jerry Rice now. So
good for him.
Good on the Bucks for getting him because we've heard I've heard players in the past like Shannon Sharp's talked about it.
Good for him.
Like record, they used to just take you out, be like, nope, you ain't getting that incentive. So it's nice to see that. I think I saw several. I can't remember them all. I know Mike Evans was the big one, but there were like several times like we saw through. I think Geno Smith even.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Geno when we got there, but he had one too. He had two actually, which we'll talk about. But yeah, good for Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. I mean, he checks a lot of the boxes.
Yeah, he has a Super Bowl win. He's been
got the numbers. He's done it with a lot of different quarterbacks.
Exactly.
Yeah, good for Mike Evans. Happy for him. I love Mike Evans. Next game, I say the Packers are a big loser. The Patriots, boy, what are you doing? Beating the Bills. The Bills had nothing to play for. They were playing all their backups, obviously, but Patriots winning means they don't have the number one pick in the draft now. They basically just gave it to the Titans. So they fired Gerard Mayo after this game. We'll talk about some of that when we get to the Black Monday segment. But
they're the 4th seed. They dropped down to the 4th seed.
Yeah, that's bad. And as for the Bills, they had nothing to lose or gain from winning this game or whatever. They're in the 2nd seed. So that is where the Bills are. They're playing on Wild Card Weekend against the Broncos next week, so that'll be fun. Speaking of a playoff team, Chargers beat the Raiders convincingly. Nothing special there. Chargers on a roll, looking really good right now. They're going to play the Texans. Spoiler alert, I like the Chargers in that game. Cardinals 49ers, neither team playing for anything. Cardinals rout the Niners backups 47-24. Bit of a bummer. I thought there was a chance that the 49ers would play some of their starters. I can't remember the sequence of events from last week, but didn't end up working. I had the 49ers plus some points, and it was bad bet. Cardinals rout them. Chiefs Broncos. Whew. I had the Chiefs plus 11. I was like, no chance. The Broncos beat them by more than 11 right now. They beat them 38-0. The Chiefs basically just laid down and they're like, we literally don't care.
Yeah.
We are thinking about our vacation that we're about to be on. This is the Friday before vacation in the office for us, my dude. We are hanging out at the coffee a little longer than we should. We are scrolling on our phones at our desks, just looking at the clock, do not care. And the Broncos get in the playoffs because of it, so congrats to the Broncos. They break their playoff drought. Last time they were in the playoffs, last time they played a playoff game was Super Bowl 50 when Peyton Manning beat the Carolina Panthers. You were talking about Geno Smith. Geno Smith and the Seahawks beat the Rams 30-24. This game, not much on the line. Seahawks were out. Rams were playing backups. This was actually a pretty good game. This was a back-and-forth game. Neither team controlled it for too long, but Geno Smith, he had to pass for, I think, 140-something yards. That was $2 million. And then if he won this game, it put the Seahawks at 10-7. That gets him another $2 million. So he made $4 million from this game. So good for Geno. Rams, they're playing on Monday night against the Vikings this week. So they win their division. Good for them. We got the Dolphins and the Jets. Basically, the Dolphins, I think what happened was, right, they were watching the Chiefs score, and they saw the Broncos were winning, and they're like, all right, I'm not. It's third quarter. I don't care about this anymore. We're not winning. Or even if we win, we're not in. Like, I don't care. Like, I just want to go home. Season's over. So they lose to the Jets 32-20. The Jets, it just boggles my mind. I get it. Like, the dude passed for 500 touchdowns in a career, like, insane. But it was amazing to me how happy Aaron Rodgers looked on the sidelines
after crazy disappointing season.
What I mean, I've thought about it all year long. Like, you think about all the quarterbacks that left their first team and went to another team. Joe Montana got to an AFC championship with his second team. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with his second team.
Tom Brady 2 Super Bowls.
Peyton got to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with his second team. Like, you look at all the all-time great quarterbacks. If they played for a second team. Brett Favre made it to an NFC championship.
NFC championship.
Really should have won it if he hadn't totally bungled it at the end of the game. He gave that game away. They should have been in the Super Bowl that year. So I mean, yeah, the Brett Favre one, I'm sure stings even more. But you have a history of all-time great quarterbacks. If they don't stay with the same team their whole career, they tend to have pretty good success in their second stop. And it's unequivocally the worst second stop an all-time great quarterback has ever had. I mean, it's not even close. It's literally not even close. I mean, it's like they're all up here being somewhat successful, and then there's utter demoralizing failure. That's
7-10 last year without him, and they sat here and won 5 games with him. Yeah,
it's bad.
It's embarrassing.
It's bad. So Jets don't care. I still am also amazed at because the Lions, everybody's rooting for the Lions. Nobody's rooting even if you don't believe in the Lions, you're not rooting against them unless you hate them as a division rival. The Jets have been so bad for years, and everybody hates them. They are so hated despite being so bad. So that's kind of sad. And then we get to the Sunday night game. Sunday night, the final game of the regular season, possibly the most pivotal game in the history of the NFL when it comes to the regular season. 2 14-2 teams playing in the same division, playing for the number 1 seed. Loser drops to the 5. This game I'm okay to spend a little bit of time on, but the Lions win 31-9. I know the score, you're like, 31-9, blowout. It felt a little closer than that. Both offenses were.
The Vikings were in the red zone quite a few times.
Yeah, and they just kept going for it on fourth. Yeah. This game really broke open kind of late in the third when the Lions. This is what the Lions do. I mean, they just bully you. I mean, they just keep grinding you down. Their offensive line is so dominant. I heard a joke when the Vikings linebacker he truck stick Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield. Somebody said the Vikings stole all of Sonic's coins, and Sonic went on a quest to get them all back. And he did. Jahmyr Gibbs was amazing in this game. 4 touchdowns, I think. Historical performance for him in a pretty historical game, to be honest. That was awesome. I see a lot of blame flying around for the Vikings. People are blaming Kevin O'Connell. I get it. Kevin O'Connell probably shouldn't have gone for it on 4th down as much as he did, but Sam Darnold's the reason they lost this game. Sam Darnold was horrible.
I mean, I think shout out to Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn. I love Aaron Glenn. He used to play for the Cowboys.
The DC for Detroit. I mean, what was it? They blitzed 60% or over 60% the entire game. Had him seeing ghosts, and I mean that's
only Sam Darnold can see ghosts.
I mean, at least that's the book on him. So shout out to Aaron Glenn and that game plan. They had a plan and they stuck to it, and it won in their favor. As you said, Kevin O'Connell kind of got out of what the Vikings do. I think on First Things First, I heard the Lions are one of the most aggressive teams in the league.
Go for it more than any team.
Down. And the Vikings on the other side were on the flip side of that coin of being the least, taking the least amount of risk. So I think, going into this game, would you have been surprised? I think we even thought this game was going to be a 40, 45, 42, 38. It was going to be some kind of high scoring back and forth game. And I felt like maybe that's kind of what he thought too, Kevin O'Connell. Hey, we got to put up points, and because Lions really couldn't stop anybody, and even though the Vikings do get turnovers, that Lions offense is so high powered that they will get some over our defense, but it wasn't. And Sam Darnold was off all night, missing high all the time. The the epitome of the game was in that second quarter when you overthrow Justin Jefferson like
Wide open in the end
end
zone.
zone. Like he
Yeah.
just, it's hard to do that. And but they did. So I guess my question would be, did Sam? I guess the big question about Sam Darnold, did he play himself? Do you see him playing himself out of some kind that contract that we've been talking about Sam Darnold should or should not get?
Look, it sucks to say because I've been a pretty big Sam Donald supporter this year. I mean, even just a couple weeks ago, I was saying, like, if you're the Vikings, you probably have to sign him and look to trade JJ because, like, he's playing so well.
I want to trade it. We'll see.
You would be silly to let him walk out the building and get nothing for him. But, dude, that game was bad. Like, and maybe it's because Sam Darnold is on such a short leash, but like biggest moment of the year. I mean, I really the thing that sold it for me. I saw this in. I know some people were talking about it after the game, but like I saw it in real time when it happened. I rewound the play to go see again, and I'm sitting here talking about it in our Discord when it was goal to go on fourth down, and he's got Jordan Addison running, and they've stacked their receivers. One of the receivers runs up and basically pushes back the corners. So they're running a pick play up, and it leaves Jordan Addison wide open on a quick out route in the end zone. Sam Darnold is looking right at him and looks him off and overthrows Justin Jefferson on the other side. It was just bad. I think now, I'm not saying he's played himself out of a contract, but now I'm saying he needs to play well against the Rams. If he goes out and craps the bed again against the Rams, I think, sign him 3 years, $100 million. Like, I think that's fine. I think that he's earned that. A $30 million contract seems fair, but he's if he was looking for a big $40+ million payday, he now has to go back and earn that with some good playoff performance. So.
Yeah, I will go on and say I agree with much of what you said. I mean, I've been an advocate for the Vikings do need to play him. All I hear every year is how hard it is to win in the NFL, and coming into this year, we both had the Vikings not being very well.
We had them going 4-13.
Both going 4-13. With all the injuries, them losing their corner that they drafted, RIP to him. They lost injury to a receiver they drafted. JJ McCarthy got injured. I think other injuries, and coming into the season, no expectations, and Sam Darnold won you 14 games, and you were at the cusp of having the number one seed and maybe going to the Super Bowl, which would have been insane. But
I agree.
I think the money has come down, obviously, and it also kind of depends on what he does in this wild card game. But I think he still deserves his contract. Now, unless he plays like terrible against the Rams on Monday, I can see. I still wholeheartedly believe the Vikings should give him a contract because, hey man, you want to go to these teams, get you a big contract. Well, you don't have Kevin O'Connell. You're not gonna have Justin Jefferson. You're not gonna have Jason Addison. You're not gonna have a good running game. So and a good defense. Well, it depends. Seems like Brian Flores is getting interviews for head coaching jobs, so we'll see about how that goes. But I would say he hasn't played out of a contract yet, but that was a pretty damning game there that really hurt his case. Just such a big moment at the end of the season, and yeah, he didn't play well. But I also kind of blame Kevin O'Connell too with the fourth down attempts and stuff. So Could have probably kept yourself in the game a little bit more if you would have went for those field goals. The Lions weren't playing that great. Jared Goff had 2 interceptions. Um, yeah, so ugh, rough, but we'll see what they do on Monday.
I agree. Last thing I'll say is I just want to give kudos to the Lions because I've been a big, the difference between a fan and the supporter, right? I'm not a Lions fan. I haven't earned that, but I am a Lions supporter this year. I've been big on the Lions. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. You did as well. I've been a staunch defender of them when people have doubted them. I've called them historically good at times. I heard so much slander going into this game. So many people saying
That defense was bad. The defense
Lions,
was bad.
Lions ain't gonna win this game, y'all. Y'all saw how close it was the first time, and now their defense is bad. They're not winning this game, and I'm just like, all right, bet. Just wait. Just you wait. Just you wait and see. Watch what's gonna happen. Watch what happened. Like I love this team so much. I love what Dan Campbell's doing. Like all those people. Like, oh man, you're playing your starters against the Niners and turning around 6 days later to go play the Vikings. What are you doing? It's like winning games. How about that? We're 15-2, and we got the bye. Go eat ass. So yeah. Anyway, just love what the Lions are doing. But anyway, that wraps up. That's it. We've talked about every game from the year, Christian. All 272 of them, 256 of them, however many. I don't know. But now we turn our attention to. I wanted to talk about our predictions from the beginning of the year and talk about how they lined up with the actual final standings. So, without further ado, Christian, let's go through this pretty quickly. So, we'll start the NFC East. You had the Eagles winning it.
Told you. You
had the Cowboys coming in second place.
Yeah, I got that one wrong.
But you had the Commanders coming in at 9-8. They ended up 12-5. So, I think that was kind of the sentiment around the Commanders going for both of us. It was like, I want to say they'll be good, but I'm scared. And they were really good. And then you had the Giants rounding out at 2-15.
God damn.
They went 3-14.
Okay.
So you were close. You were close. For me, I had the Cowboys winning it at 10-7. If you recall, though, I was very skeptical about this division. Did not think any team in this division was going to be that good. I was wrong about that. I had the Commanders also 9-8. I had the Eagles 8-9. We've talked a lot about that. That was my big prediction that utterly failed. And I had the Giants at 4-13. So we were both pretty correct about the Giants. The West. I had the Rams winning the West. Woo! I had the Niners going 10-7. Didn't work out there. They went 6-11, finished last place in their division. Oh my gosh. Had the Cardinals at 9-8. They went 8-9. And I had the Seahawks at 8-9, and they went 10-7. You had the 49ers as their number one seed. Tough. You had the Rams at 12-5. Seahawks 10-7, but you had them making the playoffs. They missed the playoffs, and you had the Cardinals at 8-9. So you nailed the Seahawks and Cardinals on the nose. Let's talk the North. You had the Lions winning it, the Packers in second, the Bears at 6-11. So pretty spot on with the Bears.
Told you.
And the Packers were 11-6. You picked them to go 10-7. You weren't far off there. You had, just like me, the Vikings at fourth place at 4-13. Just utterly wrong about that team. As I said, I had them at that record. I also had the Lions as the number one seed at 12-5, so I feel good about that. I had the Packers also at 11-6. Bears at 8-9. Had them doing way better than than they actually did. NFC South. Congrats to you. You picked the Bucks. Falcons in second place.
We made the initial pick. I think I had the Falcons first.
Yeah, but you got it right in the end. That's all that matters. You had the Saints at 6-11. They finished 5-12. And you had the Panthers at 4-13. They finished 5-12. Saints did finish last place though. I had the Falcons at 9-8. They finished 8-9. Panthers at 8-9. Bucks at 6-11. Saints at 4-13. I got the Saints right in last place. So in the NFC, you picked 3 of the division winners correctly. I picked 2 of the division winners correctly. So congrats to you, Christian. And then we go to the AFC. We both had the Bills winning that division. We both nailed the AFC East. Bills in first, Dolphins in second, Jets in third, Patriots in fourth. We both gave too many wins to the Jets. We gave too many wins to the Dolphins.
It's funny because I was so down on the Jets coming into the season. I was like, I don't believe in this team. This team isn't good. And yeah, and then in the final prediction, I don't know what happened. I just was like, you know what? Let me be nice. And I was too nice. I don't know why I did that.
It's okay. You had them 9-8. I had them 8-9. So it's okay. It is what it is. Both of us had the Patriots doing bad. I nailed the Patriots at 4-13. You had them at 5-12, so you were right there. But you had the best Patriots prediction because you said, and I quote, "I think Drake May will be starting around week 6." And that's exactly when he started. He started in week 6. His first start was against the Texans in week 6. He lost. But good job, Christian. That's pretty hilarious. We both also nailed. Well, the order. The AFC West. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. You had the Chiefs. We both had the Chiefs at 13-4. Had the Chargers both at 10-7, making the playoffs. You were almost exactly right on the Broncos at 9-8. I had them at 7-10, so we both had them missing the playoffs, but you were a lot closer. I had the Raiders at 5-12, and you had the Raiders at 4-13, pegged it exactly. I mean, you were almost spot on in the AFC West. I mean, you give the Broncos one more win, and you have the courage to say the Chiefs are going to go 15-2. You picked that division exactly right. So, good job on that. AFC North. Yeah, this one hurt.
I think we both had the Bengals.
Both had the Bengals. I had the Bengals as the number 1 seed, 13-4. You had the Bengals at 12-5. Both had the Ravens at 11-6 in second place. They finished 12-5. Both had the Browns in third place at 9-8. And then I had the Steelers at 8-9. You had the Steelers at 9-8. Both had the Bengals and Ravens making the playoffs. And then we rounded out with the AFC South. You had the Texans winning it at 11-6. They went 10-7 and won it. You had the Jags at 9-8. They went 4-13. You had the Titans at 4-13. They went 3-14. And you had the Colts at 6-11. They get second place at 8-9. I was very bullish on the Colts. Had them going 11-6. Had the Jaguars going 10-7. Making the playoffs. Texans missing at 9-8. Titans at 4-13. So I was so wrong about this division. It's insane. We both got 2 of the division winners correct. And to wrap it up, to put a bow on it, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You had 9 of the 14 playoff teams correct.
Dang.
Yes. You missed the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Dolphins, the Bengals, the 49ers, the Seahawks, and the Cowboys. Though you put those in error. And I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 7 of the 14 right. So you, Christian, I think it's safe to say, had a much better job picking the games than I did. So congrats to you, Christian. Good stuff. 9 of the 14. I had 7 of the 14. You picked more division winners correctly. Awesome. Love it. It was a good season. It was fun. All right.
Sad that it's about to close. We got 1 month left.
Dude, I almost cried when Red Zone was signing off.
Yeah.
They're like, thanks for hanging us for the season. I'm like, Red Zone's gone for 8 more months.
That's it.
It's like, I'm not going to see Red Zone. Oh, man. So anyway, that sucked. Anything else on the predictions you want to say?
No. I'm just I wish I was more hard on the Jets. So
That's your regret. I didn't hate the Jets enough.
I did hate the Jets. I don't know why I gave them 9 wins.
You had to miss in the playoffs.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen.
All right. Let's move on to our next segment here. This is going to be a fun segment. We are going to do an old-fashioned draft where we are going to draft our favorite headlines from the year. Can be anything that happened this year. Can be an event, can be an outcome like a team prediction, can be surprise, can be a disappointment. It can be anything that you love that you thought was significant. So, Christian, if you would like, without further ado, I will give you the first overall pick. I don't have the draft music that I can chime in here, but
um, anything that stuck with me through this year, I'd say I think the biggest thing was. I mean, the Viking success. I know it didn't end well in week 18, but like as I scope, like as we talked about it at nauseum, but like it, like that was just such a great season for the Vikings and with Sam Darnold and all that, like that to having a really great defense, getting turnovers and all that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out at the end, but I mean they have a chance again on Monday to continue this story that they're on. So it just all depends on their what they do on Monday. But I think that was just a really awesome story, especially with all the injuries and stuff, and people counting them out. It's such a great underdog story, and to see how it all played out was great. I'm sorry about Week 18, Vikings fans, but you should hold your head high. That was a great season.
that's a bummer because that was going to be my first pick.
Yeah,
I mean, that's true. I mean, yeah, like there's not many more stories to me that eclipse, and not just the Vikings, but Sam Darnold.
yeah,
Also, I mean, just the season he had. I mean, again, like I had them, I had them going 4-13, not because I thought they were a 4-13 team, but just because their schedule on the outset seemed so difficult, and it wasn't as hard as we thought. But I mean, props to them. Like they lost to the Rams all those weeks ago and won 9 consecutive games up until this past weekend. So good for the Vikings. Very happy. They should, Vikings fans should feel happy with that success. I know they don't. I know they're bummed because they probably feel like they're about to get beat in round one or something. But a great season for the Vikings. Like 14 wins is crazy.
yeah.
All right, I have my next one. I'm gonna just low hanging fruit, right? It's the first. It's the first pick. I'm gonna say the Jets. Like the Jets' disappointment. I know we didn't have too much. I know we didn't have too many expectations. Neither of us had them going 5-12 though.
Yeah,
Like
I should
just
have.
the insane debacle that was this team this year. Started 2-1, never looked right. Had a great Thursday night game against the Patriots, and that was the best we ever saw them. I mean, they beat the Texans on a Thursday night game too. Like it is what it. But like they fired their coach, lost to the Bills, just get it out of control. Traded for Devontae Adams, that didn't work. You had all this insane. They fired their GM. You had all these stories coming out about their owner and not trading for Jerry Jeudy because of his Madden rating, and like it's just this horrible toxic place, and he's got his sons like interrupting the game ball ceremony after like it's Aaron Rodgers, nobody likes him. He's going on Pat McAfee, like it's just
Garrett Wilson
Garrett
maybe
Wilson.
else requesting a trade.
I,
It's just a rumor. I don't know.
Sauce Gardner saying like somebody's like who was it? Somebody's like, you should go recruit this guy to us.
Yeah,
I'm
like an
not
Instagram
recruiting him. I would
post.
tell him to never
You're
come
like,
here.
do not come here.
like it's there's so much shit that happened with this team this year. It's so easy to forget it all. So that's my pick. The Jets just
Running Mike Williams out of town.
dude, the list just goes. It just goes. So the Jets are my pick. Hilarious season. Hilarious. Just utter debauchery, utter debacle. 5-12 after some people were saying this team would not only be great, but they would be the number one seed. Aaron Rodgers would be the
Oh,
MVP. Like, embarrassing. So
now
hilarious.
ain't
And
my
they didn't
name.
even get hurt. Like, that was the big knock. It's like, if this team stays healthy. Nah, they stayed healthy. It just didn't matter. Anyway, that's my number one pick.
Um, I mean, kind of an easy dunk layup here, but Saquon's
Yeah, that's a good one.
uh, year with the Eagles, eclipsing 2,000 yards, didn't get the record, breaking Eric Dickerson's record because he sat out Week 17. But hey, still a great season, as I talked about last week, being the ninth running back to eclipse 2,000 yards in a season was great, especially with all the talk that came into the running back position coming into this year. How you shouldn't pay running backs. There's always a fresh and young kid coming in the draft uh, that can just give you the same production. Um, you know, Saquon got a lot of flack from leaving the leaving the Giants with their hard knock stuff and all that and them franchise tagging Saquon and them paying Daniel Jones. But hey, he kept his head high. He worked, and he had a phenomenal season. His team is now one of the favorite. And I think it's the Lions' favorite, but the Eagles should be a close second. Going, we'll see Jalen Hurts how his injury will do, but I mean, hey, tip my hat off to Saquon over there. I know he's playing for the Eagles. That's not a very great franchise, but I'm at least rooting for Saquon's success.
I mean, the Eagles,
At
I
least
hate
the
to say
fans.
it. They are. Yeah,
The
fans.
franchise is okay.
The
franchise
fans, no offense, y'all suck. But, I mean, people say Cowboys fans suck, so I'm not it's fair game. No, Saquon's a great pick. I was dead wrong on Saquon. He was remarkable this year. I mean, he was so good. I mean, and I remember when the season started and he was rushing for 100
Yeah,
yards
week
on the
one
Packers. I mean,
against the
out the
Packers.
gate, and I'm like, it'll slow down, and it never did. I mean, he just kept doing it. He averaged almost 6 yards a carry this year. I mean, just utter insanity. He was so. I'm very happy for him because he is a great player. He's got so much potential, and he seems like a great guy. Like, that was a big thing about him coming out, is just how great of a guy he is, how well he was raised. And, man, to see him go to the Eagles and have this success, be the ninth player ever with 2,000 yards, awesome. Just so happy for him. So congrats to Saquon. That's a great pick.
I wish he would have got the record.
Yeah, that would have been fun. I would have welcomed that as well. My next pick, this one's a little bit out of the box. The lack of parity in the NFL this year. The parity was not good. Typically, the NFL's known for being like this crazy turnover-ridden league where like teams go from first to last and last to first, and all these teams make the playoffs, and so much of it's random. We only had 4 new teams in the playoffs this year, which I don't know if that's happened since we've had 12 teams. Like, every year it's half the teams are new, and this year was only 4. So I mean, we were 3 short of reaching half. We had multiple. I mean, the bottom of the league, unwatchable. The Patriots, the Raiders, the Browns, the Titans, the Giants, the Saints. I mean, just
Saints were watchable for
3 weeks. Yeah. I mean, but the Jets 5-12. I mean, the Jaguars. Like, so many teams were just unwatchable in the AFC alone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the 16 teams in the AFC had 4 or less wins. I mean, it's just the separation between the top tier teams and the bad teams was just so brazen this year. I do worry that the NFL might have a problem on its hands where that soft middle is kind of going away, and it's really like you're either a good team, a really good team, or you're unwatchable. Where the NFL has really thrived on like all teams feel. I mean, there's always a handful of teams in the league that are just not good, but like every other team is like competitive to some degree.
Mhm.
It just didn't happen this year. So, and that was reflected by how many like you look at Vegas and the spreads that they make, and it's like, this team is a road favorite, and road favorites like never bet on road favorites. Road favorites always lose. You don't want to bet on a team that's giving up points going on the road. Nah, if you bet road favorites this year, you make bank. Like the good teams were dominating all year long. So, yeah, I'm gonna pick parity for my second one. It just was not there as much. Could be because of the rules. The gap between quarterback play is growing. If you don't got one of these dudes, you're just not. You see what happens. The Patriots, like maybe Drake May's that dude, but they didn't have talent. The Raiders don't have that guy. The Browns didn't have that guy. Titans didn't have that guy. Giants didn't have that guy. And I mean, you saw what happened. So I got parity as my second pick. Who's your next pick?
Um, next pick. I, I, more a complaint than
Yeah, dude, it can be anything you want. Things that stood out to you from the
but
season.
the accessibility of games has gotten so hard.
Mm-hmm. I like that pick. Yeah,
Everyone going with everything now going to streaming. It's just so sad to see. Like I can't sit down and just watch a game. I have to get Sunday Ticket with YouTube TV. I have to have Netflix. I have to have CBS. Like
NFL Plus,
NFL Plus,
ESPN,
ESPN. Yeah, ESPN. You have to find
Peacock.
Peacock. It's so annoying and frustrating, and I mean, it's just what we live in, the world we live in now. With like, because it's not gonna stop. Like these contracts have already been signed. It is what it is. So it's just I want that to stop. I just want games to be more accessible because that's what that's kind of what the NFL was like, kind of built on, just being so accessible and sitting down and watching a game with your friends. And now like I have to either look for alternative means, or I got to go out to bars or go find a friend uh, to watch a game, or see if they have the the correct streaming service platform to get the games. So yeah, I'm just a little disappointed in that. I wish we could get back to just regular, just turning on the TV and getting whatever game I can. So that I'm very disappointed on that.
I love that pick. That's actually, I think, very astute, and I'll even raise it a little bit. Like, I feel like to a degree, I hate to use this word because it definitely is not appropriate for this context, but it does feel like a little bit of abuse. The NFL like abusing its fan base a little bit because it's not even just that. It's not just like, oh, you want to watch this game, you got to have it on Netflix, homie. Like, sorry, go get Netflix. But it's also like the amount of days of the week this year that there was an NFL game. Every single day of the week this year had one except Tuesday.
Yeah, I think
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday all had games. There were 2 games on Christmas. Like, dude, I got family. Like, I got shit to do. And I love football. Like, dude, we do a 2-hour podcast every week on football. Like, we love football. Like, dude, I cannot afford time-wise to carve out Christmas time to go watch these 2 games that are playoff implication games, because all 4 teams that played on Thanksgiving were playoff teams. Like, and then they end up being blowouts anyway. Like, I can't, like, I just, a Saturday here and there at the end of the season, fine. The playoffs have always been on Saturdays. I'm okay with that. But, dude, I can't be spending Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, I got a wife. Like, I can't. At some point, she's like, "You were watching football yesterday all day. Now you're watching football again all day today." And I'm like, "Yeah." Like I just yeah. I think you make an astute point. The streaming, the days of the week, it's all annoying. I guess for my third pick, I'll bring it back a little bit. I'll go rookie quarterbacks. A lot of good rookie quarterback stories. I think the NFL needed this year for rookie quarterbacks because we've definitely been on a losing skid when it's come to rookie quarterbacks. You think back the past couple drafts. Last year, Bryce Young was the number one overall pick. He very much struggled. A couple years before that, you had Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. I think there might be one more I'm forgetting, but there was so many bust quarterbacks that have been coming out, and it really looked like the NFL, they were going to these bad teams. These teams weren't developing them, and it looked like the NFL was really hitting a snag when it came to developing young quarterbacks. This year, not so much. Bo Nix, pretty good.
People were laughing at that pick by the Broncos.
Yeah, and it worked. People are. Sean Payton's like, "Nah, this is the guy we wanted." Everybody's like, "I'm sure." No, yeah, he's in the playoffs. Jaden Daniels, stud, awesome, great pick. Even Caleb Williams, I know he's in a bad situation, but he showed flashes. He seems like he could be pretty good. You get a good coach in there to develop him. He could be a guy. Drake May, even who's the Patriots backup? Melton from Tennessee.
Don't remember.
Melton, from Tennessee, he was carving up the Bills. I mean, he looked really good. So you had a number of. I think the NFL it was a good year for rookie quarterbacks. I think the NFL, after a couple years of iffy showings by quarterbacks, could kind of take a deep breath and go, okay, we have stabilized our young quarterback situation. Even Bryce Young showed some flashes this year. So, rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks in general, solid win for the NFL.
I'm up again.
Yeah, we can make this the last one if you're ready to move on. We could do this all day, but
last thing. You go and pass to me. I can't pick a one.
Right now. Christian's trading the pick. He's trading the pick, ladies and gentlemen. All right. For my last pick, my fourth pick. I will hit on just I guess a couple more teams that I was disappointed with, and call it there. Very disappointed in the Bengals. That was a bummer.
Yeah.
Very disappointed.
They didn't get off on better starts.
Yeah. I mean, they fell into a hole early, and they were chasing the entire season. It was just them trying to get out of that hole. And they finally did at the end of the year, but a little too late. Yeah. The Colts very much disappointed me. I was big on Anthony Richardson going into this year. I don't want to say he can't play, but I don't know if he can play, and he's also injury prone. Jaguars, super disappointing. That had to be, sneaky, one of the most disappointing, but 4-13 when a lot of people had this team making a playoff run, possibly. Horrible, just awful. The Niners are an easy one, 6-11. The Bears, I think, even at 5-12, were a little more disappointing than I thought a lot of people thought they'd be. And last but not least, how could I forget my Dallas Cowboys? 7-10. I thought they'd take a step back. I had them going 9-8, 10-7. I didn't think 7-10. They lost their quarterback, gave up on the season, had bad injuries. They kind of stabilized at the end of the year, but too little, too late. 7-10. So, yeah, it's just a list of the last couple disappointing teams that I was sad about.
I think I'll go back. I'll hit on your disappointing teams too. Dolphins, obviously. I was down on them coming into this year. As I said, I think wanted to see more from Mike McDaniel's, and I didn't. We're still struggling against good teams. We had injury. We have an injury-prone quarterback. What did you expect to happen? And we had some key injuries. Before the year, our GM was laughing, talking about you guys are more worried about the offensive line than we are, and then ending press conference, they got their tails hidden behind their legs, uh, and talking about, yeah, this is going to be a focus for us. So, um, yeah, learning about that, Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill, maybe be hinting on wanting to be out. I don't know what's going around along there. Learning that we got players showing up late to meetings and all that stuff, and we're handing out fines, but nothing's really changing. So that's pretty disappointing. Uh, we need to fix that. I was a little not very happy with our owner Stephen Ross coming out and putting out a statement like we're not firing anybody. Um, at least, I mean, I wish we at least would have fired Chris Greer, but I'd get that. Kind of makes no sense if you're like have a new GM, but then you have a head coach that he didn't hire. So I get how that goes. So I'll add on the Giants, the Mars. I don't know what they are doing. Um, at least, well, more of keeping Saquon or franchise tagging Saquon and then signing. I guess that's more the GM. They did keep both Brian
Yeah.
Dable and it was Joe Sean
Joe
Shane.
Shane, yeah. Yeah.
Joe Shane. I get it. You don't want to with the Dolphins hire a GM, fire head coach, do that, stagger that, but coming out and at the end of the year press conference and be like they know what they're on thin ice. It's kind of like a hey dude, we know they're on thin ice. You don't have to announce it to everyone. It's a little petty. It's a
That
little
is a little tough, yeah.
yeah. Like now they're both sitting on walking on eggshells all season, trying to hope they get this thing fixed. Um, so that I'd say throw the Jets on there. The Patriots with Robert Kraft being a one and done uh, with Jared Mayo, like you were talking so much about how Jared Mayo was like a great leader, like coming in and all that stuff, really hyping him up. Saying he's gonna be the future. Like we handpicked this guy, to be the successor of Bill Belichick, and then you fire him after he won the last game. That's pretty disappointing.
Especially because it's only because Mike Vrabel. Like, there's rumors
Well, then
that
if
they
you get
might get
Mike
Mike
Vrabel,
Vrabel.
you better get Mike Vrabel.
Yeah,
That's all.
exactly. Like, that's going to be the thing. If they don't get
Better-
Mike Vrabel,
Then what was this for?
yeah.
Obviously, I'm disappointed in the Raiders. Now, look, Antonio Pierce, I ain't gonna fight you on it. I ain't gonna fight you on it, but was it they had uh John Gruden step down in like what 20. They've just been through a lot of coaches,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, they went through their interim coach, and then Josh McDaniels fired Josh McDaniels midseason. Now they're firing Antonio Pierce after a year and some
Yeah,
change.
here it is. So yeah, Raiders have gone through John Gruden, who resigned in 2021, to Josh Daniels, who was fired in 2023, and now Antonio Pierce in 2025. I'm not gonna argue about any of those guys. Josh Daniels, Antonio Pierce, and John Gruden for that matter. They weren't doing really nothing, but it's just I don't know, just owners in general. Like, fix your shit, please.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of annoying, like, especially on the Gerard Mayo thing, right? Because I feel like I hear so much, like, these people in the media, they talk and they don't know anything. You know what? I do not remember. I don't remember a single person in the media that said Gerard Mayo great hire. Great hire, Gerard Mayo. Everybody was against it. Everybody's like, that's a dumb decision. Why are you doing that? Oh, you don't know anything. A year later, it was a dumb decision. Like
He had no coaching experience, so it's like, what did you expect? Yeah, he had rough interviews and all that stuff. Like, yeah, dude, you hired him off the street, or not off the street per se, but like you hired him and he didn't have any coaching, like head coaching experience. Like, what did you expect to happen here?
It's just, and again, like the Giants with that, and they're gonna I like Brian Daboll. I really root for Brian Daboll, but it's tough. Like they got rid of Daniel Jones in the middle of the year. The Jets are just an utter debacle, dysfunction. The Browns kept Kevin Stefanski but fired Ken Dorsey. Titans kept their guy. That's at least promising. The Colts fired Gus Bradley. They kept their GM though.
They did keep their GM. The Bengals fired.
Yeah, they fired their defensive coordinator.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I really blame that front office for that defensive struggles. I mean, they have not done anything to maintain the level of talent on their defense. They have not given that defensive coordinator. He's done so good for that team over the past several years in this run they've had with Joe Burrow, and like to fire him as if he was the problem.
It's a bit scapegoaty.
It's pretty ridiculous. So I was not a fan of that either. Looks like the Cowboys are going to keep Mike McCarthy. Technically they don't have to announce a decision on it. Like they can just not.
Well, I mean, he did. I mean, he went to Chicago. He interviewed for the Chicago job.
No, I thought he declined to do that. I thought they requested him, but he turned it down.
I just saw the headline. He got requested. I didn't really look into it after that. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, sure, whatever.
And the Bears, like they're looking for their next guy. There's a lot of really interesting coaching. I know last year was kind of you had Belichick and Vrabel and Harbaugh. This year it's a lot of hot shot coordinators: Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson. Belichick seems like he's going to be staying. Mike Vrabel's out there, so. Pretty interesting to see where things will land. The Saints, what are they gonna do? So they're a team too. Fun times. I guess before we get out of here on this topic, I just want to highlight the successes, the teams that didn't disappoint, the teams that rose to the challenge and said, "No, we're gonna be good." The Commanders, 12-5. Bravo to you, new coach, new owner, new quarterback. Awesome, great season. Happy for Commanders fans. The Rams, 10-7, pretty good. The Vikings, we already talked about a lot. The Buccaneers winning this division back to back.
It shouldn't be a surprise. They've won this division 4 times in a row now, but yeah, they just keep doing it.
Congrats to them. The Bills, a lot of offseason changes came in this offseason or this regular season.
A lot of people were down on them. Not us.
Dominated 13-4. I mean, I wasn't.
Yeah, we weren't.
I didn't think they were 13-4.
Yeah, we did not predict that, but
we did have them winning the division. We weren't silly, so we were right there. Chargers and Broncos, good on y'all. Rookie quarterback with the Broncos, fired Russell Wilson, eating that cap.
Yeah,
Chargers.
Broncos did surprise me.
A year away from just an utter debacle with Brandon Staley. You're back in the playoffs. Congrats to you. Steelers really slipped at the end of the year, but you're 10-7 with Russell Wilson. Hey,
I don't know, man. My take on Mike Tomlin. My take on Mike Tomlin, dog. I'm just like, dude, you lose a game. They haven't won a playoff game since 2016.
Yeah.
Want to know the last team they beat? The team they beat?
I want to guess. Oh, 2016. Okay, so that was
divisional round.
What was going on that year? 2016. The Cowboys went 13-3. Were the number 1 seed. It was the Packers and the Falcons in the NFC Championship. That was the year after Peyton left. So it was the Patriots. That was the year before the Jaguars went on their run and made it to the AFC Championship. Who did the Patriots play that year? It wasn't the Steelers. Steelers lost in the divisional to this team.
I guess the last team they beat.
Oh, in the divisional. So they were in the AFC Championship that year.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the team they beat in the division. Oh, it's the Chiefs.
Yep.
It's the Chiefs. I remember that game. It was with Alex Smith. Yeah, yeah. That was the game where the Chiefs realized we can't we can't go any further, and then they drafted Patrick Mahomes that next draft. Fun times. All right. Anyway, I guess we kind of knocked out Black Monday. We were
Yeah.
going to talk about that. We already talked about that a little bit. So without further ado, Christian, let's move on to our standard business. Christian, I want you to talk about the tiers. Now, I'm going to pull up these tiers while I introduce you as I always do. So the tiers, Christian does not pick the tiers himself. They're vibes. He goes off the vibes, and that is what we're doing here today. He is going to go through these. Sometimes they even surprise him. So, Christian, go ahead. Tell us what you're cooking with.
They surprised me, and they even have some. They even came to me about some predictions going forward.
Really?
They look. It's also looking into the future a little bit here. I don't know how that happened, but here we are.
That's fascinating.
Bottom tier, bottom row, unproven. It's the Commanders and the Broncos. Both teams got two pretty good head coaches. Dan Quinn for the Commanders went to a Super Bowl in the famous one, the 28-3 one. Sean Payton also won himself a Super Bowl. Just young team, Commanders, young team. We don't know what they're gonna do. Defense hasn't been pretty good. Hasn't been well. But they're feisty, and we'll see what they do. Jaden McDaniels has played well in some big spots and moments. So we'll see. And for Denver as well, great defense. Can Bo Nix and can Sean Payton settle down Bo Nix? They are going against the Bills. That's tough. Both these teams are on the road. Going to be tough environments. It's the playoffs, so we'll see how they do. But I'm at least thinking they'll put up a fight. I don't think they'll win, but they'll be putting up a fight. Next row, we got now you see me, now you don't.
That's rough.
You got the Houston Texans and the Steelers. I mean, Steelers last 4 games, 0-4 in their last 4. Like I said, it felt like I think we talked about already. It felt like that one year where they went like 12-0 or 11-0 or whatever, and then dropped their last 4 or 5 games. This has that written all over it. It said hadn't won a playoff game since week 17. They're playing the Ravens on yeah, they were playing the Ravens. Yeah, they were playing the Ravens. I don't know why I said I second guessed myself there. Playing the Ravens. Moore had a great game the last time they played. He even said he got a monkey off his back. So I'm expecting the Ravens to play well, and Steelers offensively gonna struggle. And then Houston, they've been up and down. Finished strong, but they didn't play two great teams. They had 2 losses against playoff caliber teams that they're going to see. It was the Chiefs and the Ravens, and they got smoked in both of them. So I'm not feeling very confident in them moving forward. Yeah. So there you go. I think these are both one and done teams. With their teams there. Next row, we got tough matchup. It's the Green Bay Packers. As Jake already stated earlier, this was a rematch of the Week 1 back in Brazil. The back in that game, I had to refresh. It went back and forth, pretty much, but the Eagles, got the upper hand late in that game, and Packers are coming in a little banged up. Jordan Love, he should be playing, but he was banged up in that last game. They lost Christian Watson, so we'll see what's it gonna look like. But that's a tough matchup for the Packers there. I don't know if they'll be getting too far, but we'll see. Unknown next row. We got the Rams and the Packers. I don't know who's gonna win this. Or the Rams and the Vikings. I don't know who's gonna win this game.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I don't know who's gonna win this game. It I have paused because of uh the week 18, the how the Vikings ended the season, and then the Rams. They're coming off rest. I've not been the biggest supporter of the Rams, but they're a good team, especially if when they come to play, they're not shooting themselves in the foot. So, um, yeah, I'm not sure where I'm leaning for this game. We'll hopefully by the time we get to picking, I'll have an answer for you. But right now, I don't know who's going to win this game. I mean, who's favored in this game?
The Vikings by a point and a half.
Okay, yeah. So like even Vegas is like, we don't know. All right, nuisance. Next tier, we got the Chargers and the Buccaneers. Now this is where the predictions. Well, I guess this has all kind of been a little bit of predictions here, but this is the teams that the tier list thinks that are going to get out of the first round, and how if everything else goes the way it should, the Chargers would be playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Buccaneers would play the Eagles. Now, as you know, Chargers play. They don't always win, but the Chargers do play the Chiefs close. I think they led the last time these teams played. I think that was the game where the Chargers did lead a little bit of that game, and the Kansas City had to have a comeback there. And then the Bucks. Now the Bucks have kicked this Eagles team out of the playoffs before. Now it's not the same Eagles team, but there's still some remnants of it. And I don't remember the last time the Eagles have beaten the Bucks, not in the regular season or playoffs. So if the Bucks get out of the wild card weekend, I'm not saying they'll get the upset, but it could make it tough for the Eagles.
Well,
and
especially if the
oh
sorry,
Bucks won 33-16 or week 4, week 5.
Yeah, it was. I think it was week 4. Yeah, it was week 4. It's also interesting because if the Vikings do beat the Rams, they'll be the 5th seed. They'll be the lowest remaining seed. They'll go play the Lions. So that would mean the Bucks would play the Eagles in round 2. So very possible that those two teams see each other, and who knows?
Wait,
What?
did I mess that up?
How'd you mess it up?
If the Rams, if the Eagles beat the Packers, the Bucks beat the Commanders, and the Rams beat the. Oh, well, either way, right?
Oh yeah, well, because the Bucks are the 3rd seed.
Yeah, the Bucks.
Oh
are the
yeah,
third.
yeah. I'm sorry, I thought they were the 4th seed. Yeah, no, you're right. Regardless of
Okay.
happens,
Yeah, I
regardless of
was
what
like,
happens,
wait,
the
that
Bucks
doesn't
will
make.
play the Eagles. If the Eagles and Bucks win, they will play each other in round 2.
Yeah. So yeah, nuisance. It could be a nuisance. All right. Next tier, we got the Arrowhead guest list.
Oh,
I mean, it is. If depending, how the tier list is coming to me is the Bills are going to beat the Broncos, and then the Ravens will beat the Steelers, and that's the divisional round because then if the Chargers move on to beat the Texans, Chargers play the Chiefs, and most likely the Chiefs will beat the Chargers, and then the winner of Ravens Bills will be going to Arrowhead, and that's where I have those. I'll give them a shot. I'm not saying they can't do it, but I don't know. In the Super Bowl, last year we got the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Eagles because I didn't want to put one above the other. Great win by the Lions, obviously. They do get some rest now, so hopefully they can get their defense settled up. But I do like the Eagles coming into the season. You know, defense was playing great, and they are playing this week. Jalen Hurts is coming in banged up. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But I think Eagles will get out of there with a win. And I think we'll have Lions Eagles in the NFC Championship, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Um, but they gotta get past Tampa though. They gotta get past Tampa. But yeah, that's it. What do you think? That's the
I
least.
mean, yeah, I do agree with it a lot. I think unproven is fair. The two new teams, kind of that new infrastructure, rookie quarterbacks. The only thing that's really, I mean, look, Dan Quinn's been to a Super Bowl, as you said. Sean Payton's won a Super Bowl, as you said. So they do have some kind of that street cred. But I mean, look, these are two
They
pretty
ain't
young
on the
teams.
field. Yeah,
These are
they ain't
two
on the
young
field.
teams. Like, you never know what you're going to get out of a young team, and they're both playing. The Broncos are playing the Bills. I mean, the Bills. You talk about a team. There's not many teams that are more bored with round one than the Bills. I mean, the Bills just show up and they're like, all right, yeah, okay, we got to win. All right. And the Commanders, I mean, look, Bucks, you said, I mean, they win their division every year. They go to the playoffs all the time. Like, a lot of these
And
players won
and
the
if
Super
Baker's
Bowl.
on it, and
Yeah.
if he's on it, he'll light you up.
It's not like that defense in the Commanders has, like, a lot to say about that either. So, yeah, no, I think that's fair. I like that round one exits are fair. Packers feel we're right there. I mean, I don't. I think at this point the Vikings swept the Packers. They basically blew them out twice. And the Rams, I feel like I'd probably take the Rams over the Packers at this point, given the injuries and the fact. I mean, Packers are playing the Eagles. That's just tough. Nuisance. I love that. I love that one. Like, that's kind of that sneaky category where it's like, what are you gonna get? How are you gonna go? These are two teams. I don't think it'll happen, but are we surprised if we look up and they're in the championship round? Like, dang, that's on the board. Arrowhead guest list. That seems like where it'll likely end up. One of those two teams playing the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, and then of course Eagles and Lions. That feels like this is where this NFC Championship round is heading. But we'll see. Maybe, as you said, maybe the Vikings or Rams or Bucks got something to say about that when they all play each other in round two. So, fun times ahead. Yeah, I like the list. Good job. All right, let's get to best bets really quick. Let's knock these out. So, we had a very tough week. Unfortunately, a very, very, very tough.
Yeah,
week.
week 18 does not sound like a
it was
fun
hard.
betting week.
Yeah, we went 1-4.
Yeah.
Missed the
I
Bengals
didn't.
by half a point.
Giants didn't cover whatsoever.
Yeah, you had the Giants plus 2.5. Vikings missed by half a point. Had them at minus 2.5. They won by 2. That sucked. Had the Panthers right plus 7.5. They won outright. Chiefs plus 11. 38-0. 49ers plus 5.5. Got thumped. Dolphins plus the points in a must-win game. Didn't work out. So that sucks. So that brings us now. Our record on the year is 42-48. Yeah, we're basically out of it. If we can go 10-0 in the playoffs, we'll be 52-48. I think that just nets us, like, breaks even. So that's kind of the goal at this point. Maybe not going to happen. I'm kind of shooting for 50% at this point, but either way, we got to get some wins. So
You betting on all of them?
I'm glad you asked that. So let me kind of recap how we're going to do this. So 100 bets on the year. So we have 90 in the regular season, which we've already gone through. So we have 10 playoff games left, and there are 13 playoff games. So in round 1, we'll bet 4. In round 2, we'll bet 3 of the 4. That's 7. We'll bet both championship games, and we'll bet the Super Bowl. So 4, 3, 2, 1 for 10 games total. So I'm betting 4 games out of the 6 this week. So here are the 4. All right, easy locks. Chargers minus 3 against the Texans. Easy money. And I also want to clarify, Christian, I'm fine if you pick a game that I'm also on because I'm only going to leave you with 2. And if you don't like either of those games, I don't want you to have to pick them. So pick the game you want, even if it's one I've picked. Even if it's against me, that'd be fun. Chargers minus 3 against the Texans. I don't have faith in the Texans.
I like that one, yeah.
I think the Chargers are going to bully ball them. I think the Texans, this whole season, you can ask all my Houston friends. You can ask our Houston friend Luke, who's a Texans fan. Like, this season has been skidding towards a round 1 exit all year long. And that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to lose to the Chargers. So I'm taking the Chargers -3. I'm also in the same other game on Saturday.
Oh, it's dropped.
How can
It was
I
initially
not?
10.
How can I not take this? They think I'm stupid, and I am stupid. I am dumb. I'm taking the Steelers +9.5. It's 9.5 points against it's Ravens Steelers. I know everybody's like, oh, they got blown out last night, bro. I don't care. But the Steelers have been bad for a month. I know. I'm scared to do it. But +9.5 is too many points. Like, I don't think the Steelers are gonna win. But like, can this be a 20-14 game? Yes. Like, come on. So the Steelers have a couple of things going for them. Joey Porter Jr. got hurt in that first game. He's back. George Pickens is going to be in. He wasn't in the last time. T.J. Watt wasn't at full strength. He's back.
Oh, last time the team played.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. T.J. Watt coming off a terrible
Oh,
game.
no.
Probably
George
eager.
Pickens, man.
Yeah, he's not good, but he at least helps their offense in some capacity.
He's just when he's not engaged, he's just not engaged.
And he's starting fights and stuff. Yeah, it's bad. I'm going Steelers +9.5 though. All right.
It's dry. At least it dropped because I think it started out initially 10, right?
It started at 8.5, and it moved
8?
up to 10, and then it moved back down to 9.5.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's been all over the place. All right, next one. Packers Eagles.
Oh, okay. We're on Packers Eagles. Okay. I thought that was gonna be an untouchable one.
Nah, this one's easy. This is a lock. Eagles -4.5.
4.5. Okay.
Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to roll this team. I don't think it'll be rolling it, but I think the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win this game pretty convincingly. Worst case scenario, Eagles win by 3 points. If the Eagles lose, hilarious. I'm not mad that I missed that bet. Hilarious that the Eagles lose in round 1. But if they win and they only win barely and they don't cover and they still win, worst case scenario. So if they win by 3 points, I'm sad. All right, so the Eagles -4.5. I think they're going to win by a lot. All right. My last game is tough because I don't love any of the other 3 games. Broncos-Bills scares me.
Yeah.
Scares me.
8.5.
Commanders-Bucks scares me. Scares me. Rams-Vikings.
Really? Oh, okay.
I am also scared by it.
Okay.
But how do you not bet the Rams here?
Rams +1.
How do you not bet the Rams here?
It's a pick'em game.
I mean, it is. It's just. I'm gonna go Rams. I'm going Rams +1. I'm going Rams +1. So that's my 4. So I'm going Rams +1. Chargers -3, Steelers +9.5, Eagles -4.5. So 2 dogs and 2 favorites. I'm staying away from Broncos, Bills, and staying away from Commanders, Bucks. So those are it. I'm not gonna probably change. I'm almost certainly not changing those unless some crazy news comes out, like Jordan Love's not playing and that line moves to like 8 or 9 points. Like I'm going with those 4.
Me over here.
To me, there's one bet on the board that is just a layup. There's one that's like easy money.
Did they play each other this year? They did. Week 1 too.
Yeah.
Week 1. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the safe one and go Chargers -3 as well.
That's it. That is, to me, that is just such a lock. I mean, that's such easy money.
I was thinking Commanders +3, but I'm like, and I looked at it. I'm like, oh, Bucks won by 17 points. I don't know about that. But they got that much better. Uh, yeah, it's a lot of points for the Broncos, 8.5. Yeah, Broncos cover that. Not very confident in the Packers going up against the Eagles, and then I don't know, dude. I'm still wondering who's gonna win this Vikings Rams game. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with you. I think that is the safest one and
I
the one
agree.
that should hit.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think all the other ones, like, I could see a reality where they don't hit. The Chargers, that to me just, if the Texans beat the Chargers, absolutely shocked.
I would also be shocked.
Beyond shocked. I mean, I would be more shocked than any other out. The Broncos beating the Bills would be surprising. But, like, could the Packers beat the Eagles? Yeah. Could the Steelers beat the Ravens? Yeah, we see it happen. They do it all the time. These two teams hate each other. Like, Vikings beat the Rams, Rams beat the Vikings. Like, sure. The Chargers beat the Texans, dude. Or if the Texans beat the Chargers, holy God. So, anyway. All right. Well, that's it, Christian. It's time. It's time to make our final playoff predictions. Before we do this,
Picking wild cards.
did we want to
Oh, we can redo our
make
pick.
an updated Super Bowl pick really quick?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to draw mine out really quick. I can do this quick. I can do this really quick. So, let's see.
Oh, yeah, I can write mine. Let me do the bracket real quick.
Yeah, I'll do mine really quick.
Okay.
All right. So, I am going to have. Man, I hate to do it. I think I'm actually going to be boring.
Hold on. I'm still writing mine's out.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm not. Oh no. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel good about that.
Okay. Bam. 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 Okay, so that would leave you. So you would go here. And that would leave you here. Okay. Okay. Bam, and then I don't know who's gonna win this game. Sure. I want to pick them, but yeah, and then yeah, I'm gonna go there. All right, do you have the NFC side done too?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. One sec.
No, you're good. You're good.
Vikings.
Should have done this before.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I should have did this before too.
I mean, no, we didn't even talk about doing this, so I kind of just sprung it up on us.
2-7 Eagles Packers. I'm almost done.
No,
Wait, Eagles Packers. Then all right. Yeah. Bam. Yeah. Who's gonna win this game?
If you end up the same as me, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be so mad.
Yeah, sure. All right. So that would leave. So if they get knocked out, so then that would leave. Okay, so you would go here. You would go here. Um. So then, yeah, I would do this. Yeah, and then I think I'll pick that. All right, I'm done.
All right, I'll let you. How do you want to do this? You want to just pick the wild card games now and then make our
Yeah,
predictions? Okay, so we'll just take it one game at a time. Chargers, Texans. Who you got?
Chargers,
I'm going Chargers. Steelers, Ravens. Who you got? I'm
Ravens,
going Ravens. Bucks, or I'm sorry, Bills, Broncos. Who you got?
Bills.
All right, I'm also going Bills. So round 2, you're going to have the Bills play the Ravens and the
Yeah,
Chargers play the Chiefs.
yeah.
All right. Let's go Packers, Eagles.
Eagles,
Eagles. Commanders, Bucks.
Bucks,
Dang, I'm on Bucks too. Uh, Vikings, Rams.
Rams.
Dang, I'm going Rams too. We had the same. We had the exact same. All right. So in the NFC, you have the Eagles playing
The
the
Bucks.
the Bucks and the Rams playing the Lions.
Yep.
All right. So round 2, Raven. We'll go Chargers, Chiefs. Who you got?
Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs. Ravens, Bills. Who you got?
I'm going with the Ravens.
I'm going Bills.
Okay.
So I have Bills, Chiefs in the AFC Championship. All right.
Chiefs,
Packers
Ravens
or
in the AFC Championship game.
Eagles, Bucks.
Eagles,
I went Eagles as well. And then Rams, Lions.
Lions.
I went Lions as well.
No. I've been saying Lions, Eagles.
Yeah, Lions, Eagles. So Chiefs, Bills in the Super Bowl for the Super Bowl. Who you got?
For the championship?
Yeah, AFC Championship. Chiefs, Bills. Or I'm sorry, Chiefs, Ravens. Chiefs, Ravens.
Yeah, Chiefs, Ravens. Going with the Chiefs.
Chiefs, and then Eagles, Lions. Who you got?
Going with the Lions.
All right, so you got Chiefs, Lions.
Yep, I'm rooting for the Ravens. I'm rooting for the Chargers. I'm rooting for somebody to knock off Kansas City, but it is what it is.
All right, I have the Lions beating the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Bills beating the Chiefs.
Ooh, there ain't no three-peat for you.
It's never happened. And I love Patrick Mahomes. I love Andy Reid. I love the Chiefs. I'm a Chiefs supporter. I would, if they do the first team to do it, would not complain. But at some point, the Bills are gonna beat them.
Dude, somebody gotta do it.
Josh Allen is not gonna go 0 for his career against the Chiefs. At some point, he's gonna beat him. Even
at least in the postseason.
Yeah. So I just
Peyton took how long did it take Peyton to get over the Patriots?
He got it in year 8.
Year 8.
Yeah, he beat him in the AFC Championship. Came back to do it. Came back like 3 possessions to do it. Got to the Super Bowl and won. But before that, I think he was 0-2, 0-3 in the playoffs against them. So it took him a while, but yeah. Yeah, I think the Bills will do it this year. The Bills just, to me, they feel like the better team at this point. Like, maybe I'm silly, maybe I'm wrong, but I did see the Bills beat them in the regular season, and it wasn't like, oh man, Patrick Mahomes threw an interception in the last drive. Oh yeah, it's a coin flip, whatever. 50, like they beat them. They beat them. So yeah, I like the Bills here, Bills Lions, and then I have the Lions winning it all. No. Oh, man. Well, the Bills did beat their asses earlier this year, huh?
I will say, if Chiefs Lions, I think I will go Lions.
I'll stick with Lions over the Bills in the Super Bowl. So we both have the Lions winning it, but we have a different representative in the AFC. All right. Well, that's it. That's it. We picked them. So we have identical wild card slates. Chargers, Ravens, Bills, Eagles, Bucks, and Rams. I almost want to pick the Steelers to beat the Ravens, but I'm not that bold. I'm not that bold. So, all right, well, we're going to get on out of here, everybody, but we love you, and we appreciate you sticking with us and rocking with us and watching. Excited for this weekend. We got football Saturday and Sunday. Before we go, though, Christian, we got a couple other games to pick. We got to pick the college football finals.
Oh, yeah.
Notre
those
Dame
are
and
happening.
Penn State happens tomorrow.
I haven't.
And Ohio State and Texas happens on Friday.
Great. I don't have work tomorrow, so.
Off the rip, I'm going to go Notre Dame.
Ooh. Uh, uh, wait. Oh, I completely forgot. Notre Dame knocked off Georgia. Wow,
Yeah.
that happened. That's crazy. So we're not having Georgia. All right, cool. We're having a decent championship game. Um, ooh, who has Penn State beaten? They beat Boise State. That's crazy. That's hilarious. Boise State got a bye and then got destroyed. Man, Notre Dame being Georgia. I feel like Georgia wasn't that good this year. They still were the 2 seed. Um, I'm gonna
Notre
take
Dame is
Ohio.
Notre Dame is -1.5 point favorite, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying that. I'm gonna take Ohio State over Texas. Not a big Quinn Ewers fan, to be honest with you.
I'm going to be rooting like crazy for Texas, but I think Ohio State will take it.
So yeah, I'll go Ohio State, and then I will go. And Notre Dame being Georgia, that's a great win there. I think I'll go Notre Dame. I was thinking I was gonna go Penn State, but that's a good game. They beat Georgia. That's
You know
good
what's
on Notre Dame.
you know what's hilarious
What?
is um we for years heard that they had the top 4 make the playoffs, play a semifinal and then the championship, and for years we heard, well, you don't need to expand the playoffs. Like, the teams beyond the Final Four are not good enough to be in the playoffs. Like, we already know how those games would go. If you and I are right, the first year they have this playoff setting,
Yeah, it's
number
not
5 and 6 make the finals.
5 and 7. Well, 8. I have 8 and 7.
Oh,
Because I have Ohio State.
I'm looking at the numbers of seedings. My bad.
Oh, okay.
But either way, it would be 2 teams not in the Final Four, or not in the top 4 at the end of the year. And number 1 and number 2 team got knocked out in round 2.
Yeah.
Georgia and Oregon. So,
I'll say I wish these games were closer. Like, I do like that they're adding more teams and stuff like that. I do think that is a good addition, but these games were not close. A lot of them, like Arizona State, did come back against Texas and made it interesting, but a lot of these games weren't close. But I mean, the finished product, we have, Ohio State, who's the 8th seed, or Texas was the 5th seed, or Penn State and the 6th and 7th seed. Like that, I think that looks good in the championship. I just hope the games get better as we move forward.
the thing to me that stands out is of the 4 teams. Oh wait, the teams that got buys went 0-4.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if there's something to that. Like,
It
you have kids in college, they take a week off from football, and they're playing a team that didn't take a week off. Like, they start out slow. I mean, it had Arizona State started out slow against Texas, made it interesting at the end. Oregon started out slow against Ohio State, kind of made it interesting. I mean, they didn't make it interesting. I shouldn't say that, but they started out slow, and then they started to turn it on a little bit in the second half. But it was just they just had no shots. Something to keep in mind too going forward. I wonder if there's a disadvantage to getting the bye week.
We'll see. I guess it's the first year, so
yeah, can't take anything from it yet. But either way, All right, everybody, we're gonna get on out of here. But we appreciate you. Thanks for rocking with us. We'll catch you at the next one. Talk next week about all the wild card fallout, all the news that happens between now and then, and let's see how these playoffs go. We only got 13 games left, y'all. Enjoy them. So, good luck.
I guess it's the NBA season for me.
Take it easy. We love you. Be safe out there.
Yeah, be safe.
All right, bye, y'all.